Welcome to the Government News Brief. It is Wednesday, November 16, 2016. In the news, ExxonMobil collaborating with partners to fast-track work in Stabroek Block, specialist doctors soon to provide services in Mabaruma, and the Guyana and Brazil land transport link and deepwater feasibility study has been completed. Stay tuned for these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I am Renette Lafleur, and here are the details. ExxonMobil is collaborating with its partners to fast-track work in the Stabroek Block. Find out more in this Isaiah Braffett report.
ExxonMobil, along with Nexen Energy and Hess Corporation, today confirmed a commercial quantity of oil in the Stabroek Block via a letter to the Minister of Natural Resources, Raphael Trotman. The minister says that a notification that is required by Section 31 of the Petroleum Act is being activated for the first time in Guyana's 50-year history as an independent nation.
This is a profound and watershed moment in the development of our country, and today we step one step higher on the stairway to peace, I believe, prosperity and stability as a nation. And so there's great humility and great responsibility that comes with the handing over and the receiving of this letter.
Minister Trotman says that the ministry is fully aware that every decision and action taken will have an impact on Guyanese for centuries to come. The minister adds that government is working assiduously with the various partners to meet expectations and to build capacity. The year 2016, according to Minister Trotman, is a year of foundation building, with 2017 being a year of implementation of earmarked plans and programs.
There are many plans which we will be bringing to the people in the few weeks that are ahead, and so I'd just like to end by saying God bless Guyana, and I believe this is a blessing to us, and we hope that we could apply it in the best interests of the country. So we look forward to receiving the development plan, which tells us that all the partners in this project are committed, and that the investment decision will be a positive one next year, and that we can move to production in the earliest possible time.
Vice President of ExxonMobil, Eric Oswald, says the company is excited about the prospect of being able to produce the oil found in the Stabroek Block.
What you're seeing today is the beginning of a very large effort which will unfold over the next few years as we finalize our plans and implement them, trying to develop this field.
Only recently, ExxonMobil moved the Satana Caron drill ship to test the third prospect of the Stabroek Block. The oil finding in Guyana has been attracting the attention of major companies, with a number of them seeking to obtain exploratory permits. Isaiah Braffett for the Government News Brief.
Mabaruma residents will soon benefit from services of specialist doctors. Delicia Haynes tells us more.
The Mabaruma Regional Hospital in Region 1 is on its way to having the requisite staff needed to carry out specialist care in the region. Director of Regional Health Services, Dr. K. Sheku, explains.
But Region 1 for next year, at least within the first quarter of next year, will have a general surgeon, an obstetrician and gynecologist, an internal medicine specialist, and also a pediatrician. Those are the four basic specialist care areas.
Dr. Sheku says that persons requiring these services usually depend on surgical and medical outreaches. There have been 2 outreaches thus far for 2016. Dr. Sheku says that these outreach programs cost the ministry millions of dollars. The placement of specialists will save the ministry money and ensure that objectives of providing equal health care is met.
What we're doing is upscaling the health services that we've been providing, and it's not only for Region 1 alone, but we have it across the 10 administrative regions. Now remember, one of the key mandates, or if you want to say objectives of the Ministry of Public Health, is to ensure that health services are being provided within the different regions, especially the hinterland regions, where Region 1 is a part of, is to ensure that those areas are being provided with services and specialist services that are not available to them.
The Ministry of Public Health also seeks to ensure that all citizens have access to quality health care, even at the basic level.
Every resident within Region 1 has access to a certain level of care. In other words, Region 1, like any other region within the country, is covered when it comes to health care. It's just that we need to speak of what level of care. But every citizen within a certain distance has access to a health care facility.
Equal access to health care within hinterland regions is one of the ministry's 2017 priorities. The ministry intends to bridge the gaps between hinterland and coastland health care delivery. For the Government News Brief, I am Delicia Haynes.
The Guyana and Brazil Land Transport Link and the Deepwater Port project's final result of market study has been presented. This report can prove economically beneficial to Guyana. Paul McAdam reports.
Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson says that stakeholders' participation is necessary since there are many challenges to address if the project is to be completed in a timely manner.
There is room for major improvements. For one, Guyana must improve its logistics performance to ease the burdensome process of documentary compliance and move this process from being so time-consuming.
Minister Patterson adds that administrative handling for international trade, customs, and agreements governing the operations of trucks and the undertaking of cargo and major infrastructural upgrades are areas that need improvement. The minister notes that the project can lead to economic growth and an increase in the gross domestic product locally.
Guyana can increase the competitiveness of its exports thanks to lower maritime transportation costs. Guyana can also benefit from stimulated economic activity along the road, leading to regional economic benefits in terms of employment and GDP. When we also take into account the need for tolling, this may add another dimension of economic returns for Guyana.
Meanwhile, country representative for the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB, Sophie McCunnan, says that the initiative is part of the bank's larger strategic effort to promote regional economic integration. She points out that the market study analyzes possible transport corridors, reviews trade facilitation measures, customs handling, and border crossings in Guyana.
Guyana has a high maritime transport cost due to its small size. This is all things we know. Shallow river ports that do not allow the use of larger ships with deeper drafts. It also has a small population, nothing that is new. But at this present time, in order to justify a deep water port, the project would have to rely on the transshipment of goods to and from northern Brazil states.
The Minister of Infrastructure, David Patterson, says that he anticipates the financial growth as well as infrastructural potential that the project presents. Paul McAdam, Government News Brief.
As the government prepares to launch the Emergency Medical Services, EMS, tomorrow, the public is being urged to avoid prank calling the system. Here is more.
The Emergency Medical Service EMS pilot will rely on the Guyana Fire Service 912 lines to respond to medical emergencies in and around Georgetown. National Medical Director of the EMS, Dr. Zulfikar Bucks, says for the system to be successful, persons must resist prank calling the emergency line.
One of the things I do wish to ask the members of the public is to cooperate with the ambulances and the sirens. We're asking members of the public to also cooperate and to also ease off the prank call, because that will actually take away from being able to save another person.
The EMS system will be officially launched tomorrow. The aim of the EMS is to improve response time and treatment of persons who are in need of medical care.
We can actually have emergency trained technicians who are going to go stabilize these patients, communicate with the doctors here so we can know that the patients are coming in, so we can prepare ahead of time for beds. So a patient who has an emergency, whether by an accident or a heart attack, or even a gunshot wound, whatever case is, if it's a medical emergency, they can have access to care before they come.
Dr. Bucks says that ranks from the fire service have been trained to identify whether an emergency requires an ambulance.
We're training dispatchers from the fire services in medical dispatch triage. So what that does is actually helps them to go through protocols where they can determine when they have a call if this person has a medical emergency or not.
Firefighters from the Guyana Fire Service, along with some medical personnel, have been trained as EMTs. The pilot EMS will cover from Timeri on the east bank of Demerara to Enmore on the east coast of Demerara. This collaborative effort between the Ministries of Public Security and Public Health is part of efforts to improve emergency medical care. For the Government News Brief, I'm Tiffany Rogers.
Guyana is becoming more recognized on the international market as a tourism destination. Gabriela Patram has the details.
Guyana's booth at the recently concluded World Travel Market saw an increase in visitors. According to Director of the Guyana Tourism Authority, GTA, Indranath Haro Singh, this is evidence of Guyana's increased recognition in the international arena as a tourism destination.
I must tell you that our booth traffic or booth visitation was extremely high. Matter of fact, at World Travel Market this time around, they had record attendance of travel trade professionals of 51,444 trade professionals who went there to conduct and do business from all over the world. And matter of fact, that's from 182 countries around the world, over 100,000 visitors, and 5,500 world-class exhibitors.
Harold Singh says that GTA's marketing efforts are paying off.
One of the very positive feedback out of participation and attendance at the World Travel Market is that more both consumers and travel trade are aware of Destination Guyana and have an interest in Destination Guyana.
Harold Singh also states that tourism plans are already in the making for 2017. He noted that whilst in London, a number of meetings were held with stakeholders.
I had a key meeting with Red Bull out of Europe, who are coming to do a major adventure series here in Guyana next year. They are bringing the world's top 5 skateboarders to Guyana. And there is a huge following for these guys, and they're coming to help to promote Destination Guyana.
The World Travel Market took place in London from November 7th to 9th. The Guyana team was headed by Harold Singh. The Kaitro Falls, the Harpy Eagle, the Jaguar, and Warapoka Village in Region 1 were some of the local attractions highlighted at the World Travel Market. For the Government News Brief, I'm Gabriela Patram.
Today is International Day for Tolerance. It is an annual observance declared by UNESCO in 1995 to educate people about the need for tolerance in society and to help them understand the negative effects of intolerance. The International Day for Tolerance is a time for people to learn about respecting and recognizing the rights and beliefs of others. It is also a time of reflection and debate on the negative effects of intolerance. The United Nations is committed to strengthening tolerance by fostering mutual understanding among cultures and peoples. This imperative lies at the core of the United Nations Charter as well as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That has brought us to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GINA's website. GINA has an active Facebook page, and we encourage you to visit and like us so you can be informed as the news unfolds. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of this, the Government News Brief. I am Renetta LaFleur. Do thank you for watching.